long run is essential for your aerobic base. It lays that foundation which you can then build on with your speed and tempo work. And it can be mentally and physically challenging. And then the thought of trying to increase that is understandably a little bit daunting. Well, we're here to help. We're going to be bringing you tips and advice so that you'll find yourself running more miles before you even realise it. Increase by no more than 10%. This is one of those rules that should be taken into consideration whatever sport you're training for, as it gives your body a chance to adapt to that increase in load. So whether that's your volume, your intensity, the number of sessions you're doing, or the distance. So when it comes to the long run, let's say you're currently running at around 10 miles or 16 kilometers for your long run. The following week you'd want to increase that to 11 miles or around 16.5 kilometers. And this gradual increase will reduce any chance of injury, but it'll also help to keep you motivated. And then every 3 to 4 weeks, it's a good idea to just reduce your long run back to give yourself a little bit of a break before you return to the build. It's okay to slow it down. The idea of the long run is just having time spent on your feet and getting your body used to moving yourself forwards for longer periods of time. And if that includes walking, well, that's totally fine, but do try to reduce the period of walking before you then increase the distance of your next run. Those are two major factors you need to consider when you're increasing your long run, but there are several smaller factors when added together can make a significant difference. Pace doesn't really matter when it comes to your long run, especially whilst you're increasing it at the moment, and distance shouldn't matter too much too. Instead, go by time, and that way you can relax and hopefully enjoy your run for the sake of running. One of the most common mistakes you see with long runs is people going too hard or too fast. Well, save your energy for those intense sessions later in the week, and right now concentrate on building that aerobic base. A lot of people are put off their long run of the thought of the boredom of going out on their own for a long period of time. Well, if that's you, it's a good idea to go and find a buddy. And the great part about the long run, it's a low intensity, so you should be able to hold a comfortable conversation. If you can't, then you know that you're working too hard. And if you can't find a buddy that runs at the same pace as you, it's a good idea to head to your local running club, as they'll usually have long runs going out in groups of all varying paces. Alternatively, you could get a pair of headphones and download a great playlist or even an interesting podcast and lose yourself for a while. But just make sure if you are running on the road that you keep an eye out for the cars. As your long run starts to increase and gets to around an hour or more, you'll need to consider fueling. Now, you want to find something that you can take on board whilst you're on the move that's high in easy to digest carbohydrates. So you might need a little bit of experimentation to find out what you like the taste of, but also what works with your stomach. And then if your runs start to get towards 2 hours or you're running in the heat, you'll need to consider hydration as well. And there's several options of where you can carry your liquids. And again, I'd suggest experimenting what works for you. And if you're really anti having to actually carry something whilst you're running, then maybe make your long run into loops and you can leave some water somewhere that you can grab as you pass. You need to be patient when it comes to increasing your long run in distance, but also in regularity. So try and stick to just one long run a week. And ideally, if you can, have a rest day or at least an easy training day the day after, so your body can really recover and adapt to this increase in distance. With this, it's still really important to make sure you keep it at a low level intensity, as it can be tempting to run a little bit faster. The long run is obviously physically challenging, but can also be quite mentally challenging and daunting. And sometimes getting out of the door is the hardest part about it. So why not break it down into chunks? You can do this either in time or distance, or if you know the route that you're actually running, you could break it up in your head that way. And there's maybe even an option to give yourself a little bit of a treat once you've completed each chunk, and take some jelly babies with you, and every time you've done a certain section, you can maybe have a jelly baby. But the idea of the long run, it's there to improve your aerobic base, but also it's a great opportunity to switch off and try to enjoy running for what it is, and just go out there and not worry about that pace. But the final thing I do want to really reiterate is, as you increase the distance, please do so gradually so you can get the most out of your long run. Hopefully you've enjoyed this and you feel ready to go and tackle that next long run. Give us a thumbs up like if you have, and hit the globe on screen so you can get all of our videos from GTN. And if you want to see a video on how to actually use hills to incorporate into your training, you can find that down here. And if you want some tips from Craig Alexander on running, you can find a video with that just here.